O for a muse of fire. O for a muse of fire. O for a muse of fire.
Oh, for a muse of fire, that will ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry Lake himself assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, lashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unrised spirits that hath dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the ire at Agincourt? Pardon. Since a crooked figure may attest in little place a million, and let us ciphers to this great account on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the parlous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts, into 1,000 parts divide one man, and make imaginary puissance. Think when we talk of horses that you see them printing their proud hoofs i' the receiving earth, for 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings, carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass, for the which supply, admit me, chorus to this history. O prologue like, your humble patience pry, gently to hear, kindly to judge, our ply.
Lord, I'll tell ye, that self-bill is urged, which in the 11th year of the last king's reign was like, and had indeed against us passed, but that the scambling and unquiet time did push it out of further question.
But how, my lord, shall we resist it now?
It must be thought on. If it pass against us, we lose the better half of our possession, for all the temporal lands which men devout be testament have given to the church would they strip from us, being valued thus. As much as would maintain, to the king's honour, full 15 earls and 1,500 knights, 6,200 good esquires, and to relief of lazars and wake age of indigent fine souls past corporal toil, 100 almshouses, recht well supplied, and to the coffers of the king beside, £1,000 by the year. Thus runs the bill.
This will drink deep.
'Twill drink the cup and all.
But what prevention?
The king is full of grass and fiery guard.
And a true lover of the Holy Church.
The courses of his youth promised it not. The breath no sooner left his father's body, but that his wildness, mortified in him, seemed to die too. Yea, at that very moment, consideration like an angel came, and whipped the offending Adam out of him, leaving his body as a paradise to envelop and contain celestial spirits. Never was such a sudden scholar mad. Never came reformation in a flood with such a heady current scouring faults, nor never hydra-headed wilfulness so soon did lose his set, and all at once, as in this king.
We are blessed in the challenge.
Hear him but reason in divinity, and all admiring with an inward wish he will desire the king were mad a prelate. Hear him debate of commonwealth affairs, you'll say it hath been all in all his study. List his discourse of war, and you shall hear a fearful battle rendered you in music. Turn him to any cause of policy, the guardian knot of it he will unloose, familiar as his garter, that when he speaks the ire a chartered libertine is still, and the mute wonder lurketh in men's ears to stale his sweet and honeyed sentences. So that the art and practic part of life must be the mistress to this theoric, which is a wonder how his grass should glen it, since his addiction was to courses vain, his companies unlettered, rude and shallow, his hours filled up with riots, banquets, sports, and never noted in him any study, any retirement, any sequestration from open haunts and popularity.
The strawberry grows underneath the nettle, and wholesome berries thrive and ripen best nightward be fruit of baser quality. and saw the prince obscured his contemplation under the vial of wildness, which no doubt grew like the summer grass, fastest beneath, unseen, yet crescive in his faculty.
It must be so, for miracles are cessed, and therefore we must needs admit the man's how things are parfited.
But me good lord, how now for mitigation of this bill urged by the commons? Doth his majesty incline to it, or no?
He seems indifferent, rather swaying more upon our part than cherishing the exhibitors against us. For I have mad an offer to his majesty upon our spiritual convocation, and in regard of causes now in hand which I have opened to his grace at large, as touching France, to give a greater sum than ever at own time the clergy yet did to his predecessors part withal.
How did this offer seem received, my lord?
With good acceptance of his majesty, save that there was not time enough to hear, as I perceived his grace would fain have done, the severals and unhidden passages of his true titles to some certain dukedoms, and generally to the crown and set of France, derived from Edward, his great-grandfather.
What was the impediment that broke this off?
The French ambassador upon that instant craved audience, and though I think is come to give him hearing. Is it 4 o'clock?
It is.
Then go in, to know his embassy, which he could with a ready guess declare before the Frenchman spake a word of it.
A white upon ye, and I long to hear it.
Our king went forth to Normandy with grace and might of chivalry. Their God for him wrought marvelously, where